Diplomatic ties between South Africa and Israel continue to be strained, with both countries expelling each other's envoys. Shortly after the Department of International Relations and Cooperation announced the expulsion of Israeli diplomat Ariel Seidman for what is described as unacceptable violations of diplomatic norms and practices, Israel responded then by calling the move a false attack on the country and its diplomat. Israel has since declared South Africa's senior diplomat Shaun Beineveld persona non grata and given him 72 hours to leave the country. I'm now joined by University of Johannesburg's academic and South African BDS Coalition activist, that is Professor Salim Vally. Professor Salim, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. You are a veteran of the BDS movement. How do you view this as a principled victory for sovereignty, or just a symbolic gesture that comes too late for the people of Gaza?
Hi, good afternoon, and thanks for the invitation. I'm precisely a veteran because I was involved in the struggle against apartheid, and for many of us veterans, we see the similarities. I want to congratulate Dirko. Of course, we've been saying this for a long, long time. It's long overdue, and much more can be done. I just want listeners, viewers, to understand that it was actually in November 2023 that our elected representatives in Parliament, 248, voted to stop all diplomatic relations with apartheid Israel, some now call it genocidal Israel, to 91. So it was an overwhelming vote. And we, as South Africans who lived through colonialism, racism and apartheid, we should be a beacon to the world. And that is why the likes of Trump and his supporters and the white supremacists are opposed to our country. So we think it's an important start. We shouldn't stop there. We are exporting coal to Israel. We are, the country that exports the most coal to Israel. It's a fraction of the coal we produce. And what we are doing is empowering the genocidal war machine to continue killing Palestinians. There is no ceasefire. There have been close to 1,000 violations. 18,000 children were killed. Every hospital and every university and over 300 schools have been destroyed. And Palestinians continue to freeze to death, starve to death. And we are taking our cue from the veterans of the struggle, Madiba foremost, but many others across the liberation movements, including people in churches like Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Frank Chikane, many others who have taken a stand against this regime. It affects us. As we've seen, what happens in different parts of the world affects us. Although it's very far away, these issues are close to our hearts. And it's about values, and it's about solidarity. Soon they will be attacking Cuba, Colombia. They will probably attack Iran soon. Where does it stop? It's all about the billionaires. It's about profit-making. It's about colonialism, taking the resources of indigenous people, and they are continuing doing that. And South Africa's prestige has increased in the world because of the principled stand we've taken.
Yeah. Professor Salim, I mean, the ANC has long identified itself in this context, saying that Palestine is really part of its DNA and the fight for its liberty. But expelling then the envoy, South Africa is essentially thumbing its nose at Trump's administration, right? Pro-Israel stance is quite significant in this context. From a civil society perspective, is the moral cost of silence greater than potential economic cost of retaliating against the US?
Well, it's in the DNA, not just of the ANC, of the government, of the people of South Africa, many of whom are critical of the ANC, including the legal team that represented South Africa at the ICJ. They're not card-carrying members of the ANC, many of them. They've taken up causes around poverty, inequality, discrimination in our country after 1994. So I think that's a very important point. Secondly, we've seen that you cannot appease white supremacists and their apologists. You can't appease Trump. I mean, he turns on his loyal friends, his allies, including countries like Canada. He wants Greenland. This is the new world order. And once we give the likes of Trump an inch, so I think that the argument that we will suffer, we can just respond by saying what we told the world when we were fighting against apartheid. They said, well, it will be workers in South Africa will suffer because of no investment. And we said we've suffered enough. If we make apartheid South Africa a pariah state, we will put enough pressure. Israel is not interested in peace. Israel is interested in genocide. They've killed over 71,000 people. They have 10,000 people as political prisoners. When people talk about hostages, they don't talk about political prisoners of Palestinians. They want to make Gaza a theme park because of the real estate fantasies of people like Trump's son-in-law. If we don't take a stand, it's going to be countries in Africa. I mean, he's already wants the minerals of the Congo, the oil of Nigeria, and by taking a stand, by being principled, we are acting in our interest as well.
Right.
There is this misinformation that Israel is involved in humanitarian aid. In fact, Israel kills humanitarian. More UN people have been killed in this genocide than in any struggle. More journalists have been killed than all the wars, including world wars, put together. The gift of the givers, the head of the mission of this humanitarian organization that has done more for the people of Eastern Cape, was assassinated in the most brutal fashion. So King Dalindyebo is using the largesse of the Israeli state, this apartheid genocidal state, for his own opportunistic reasons. This is a form of bribery. It's not humanitarian aid to the South African people. I need to say,
before we get into King Dalindyebo and the implications of his request to the Israeli government, let's take a quick break. We are in conversation with Professor Salim Vally, who is South Africa BDS Coalition activist. We'll continue this conversation right after this break. Thanks for staying with us. We are continuing to have a conversation with Professor Salim Vally around his reaction to the South Africa-Israel spat. It has turned a little bit ugly. And just before the break, Prof, you were talking about King Dalindyebo and his move, really, and the ramifications of that.
Absolutely. You know, under apartheid, we had collaborators. We had people who put lucre ahead of solidarity and people who broke the boycott against apartheid South Africa. I think that the king is an official in the state, local traditional leaders. And by Israel, what they are doing is that they're bypassing Durko, they're bypassing others, working directly with him. They've done this in other places. It's not about humanitarian aid, it's more propaganda. It's a way of bribing people, and their largesse is about that. I need to say that our ambassador to Palestine, Sean Baineveld, is an ambassador to the Palestinian people. He's in Ramallah, not in Tel Aviv. And this shows the chutzpah, the audacity of the Israelis who are illegally occupying the West Bank and involved in ethnic cleansing, who decide to expel him. It shows their colonial mentality.
All right, Prof, thank you very much for your time. We'll continue to monitor this as these developments and, of course, the reaction that's coming out of the various bodies. Professor Salim Vally, UJ professor and South Africa's BDS Coalition activist.